Panguitch originally, and my grandpa, my great-grandpa was a surveyor. And across that lava flow up along the top of Cedar Mountain, he was putting a survey line across, and my grandpa, so it was my great-grandpa, my grandpa was just a young lad, about 6 years old.
Uh-huh.
And they were putting that survey line across that lava flow, and they could see something shiny down in one of the big cracks, and they lowered my great-grandpa down on a rope. He'd have been probably a man of probably about 28 years old at that time. Lowered him down on the rope, had the rope tied around him, which was the lucky thing, because when they lowered him down in, he started screaming and said, "Get me out, get me out." When he was passed out.
Really?
There was noxious gas down in there. So they went back and got some of their old lanterns. He came to and he says, "No one's going down in there," but they lowered that down in there, and it was one of those Spanish guys. And what it looked like he'd done, his saddle was in it, had a big old silver horn on it, and his breastplate and his helmet, and then an odd-looking gun, they said, was all in there. But what they figured he'd done is got down in there with the saddle to get out of the rain or something.
And the gas has got him, huh?
Yeah.
This is up in the Cedar Breaks area, up there?
Up on that big lava flow up on Cedar Mountain, and I'll tell you what.
Now, where's Cedar Mountain from the Red Hills? Just straight east?
Highway 14, yeah.
Okay.
And I've been up on there, and that place is immense. I'll bet you in square miles, it's 20 square miles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing but big lava rock.
Rough, huh?
And it's rough. You wear a good pair of boots out in a half a day.
Really?
Yeah. But up on there, my grandpa, till the day he died, he passed away here about 10 years ago, he'd always tell that story. He says, "I can remember them yelling at me, 'Come on, just to leave it there." And he says, "I looked down there one more last time and could see the lint down in there."
Is that right?
And he says, but as far as we know, no one's ever fessed up to finding that.
Huh.
But my grandpa always says, if you could find an old survey line and get on that old survey line, that's where he's at.
What do you mean a survey line? Just follow out the old grids for the maps and coordinates, or was they surveying something else?
No, it was for the USGS.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it's I like to go out and look at rock art. That's my passion.
Oh yeah. Well, you got a lot out there to look at.
But I don't really know much more about than what you probably already know about the shotput man.
So your friend said it was probably about 60 years old. Who do you figure carved it then, or did he have any?
He figured it's somebody that knows something out there in the West.
Uh-huh.
And one of the stories of that Red Hill, if you look up there, there's a natural formation along the skyline ridge that faces the south of a horse. And the old legend...
Well, that's what this guy was telling me that I seen out there. And I kind of looked, and this lady that was with him, she kind of seen a horse, and I guess I seen what they was looking at, but I'm not sure.
And it's under the horse's head. The old legend is that there's more treasure on that Red Hill that could make the whole United States rich.
Now, who put out that treasure? Out that tale?
Well, see, that's been around forever. I heard that when I was a kid in Panguitch.
Really?
From with Montezuma.
Okay.
See, Montezuma did bring his stuff north across the Big Canyon. That's a proven fact.
How's that proven fact? I believe he did come this way. But how's that? But I don't know how that's a proven fact.
Well, I guess that might be a little harsh.
I know, I believe it, but I don't know how it's a proven fact, because a lot of people think a lot of different places.
He was caught at Recapture Creek.
Montezuma was?
That's why they call it Recapture Creek up in Moab. He got loose the one time. He come up in here. They've got the places over there in Johnson's Canyon. Place there at
right.
Lakes, and the place at Zion's Canyon,
mm-hmm.
and then the Red Hill at Cedar City. But anyway, he got away. And when they first captured him, all of the stuff he'd brought north was gone, cached. And then he got away, and then they caught him again up at Recapture Creek up by Moab. That's why it's called Recapture Creek.
Okay.
And but he by the time they caught him, he was on this side of the Grand Canyon. He didn't have a thing on him. Maybe he couldn't have got it through the Grand Canyon, So.
Yeah.
But anyway, that place there, you've been to Johnson's Canyon all
Yep, I have.
And see, when I was a little boy, my dad took us up in there.
Oh.
And he told stories about that since I was a kid,
Did your dad do some treasure hunting there, did he? Or?
No, he was never into that, really. He just thought it was an interesting story of the old Freddie crystals.
Oh, yeah. It is an interesting story.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I also ran into another guy, and maybe that's what he was talking about. He said that his family had been searching them Red Hills for 7 generations for something.
Fife?
What's that?
Last name Fife. F-I-F-E.
You know what? I I really can't remember. This guy was a kid and he was drunk. Couldn't even hardly understand him. But he said his family had been searching there for 7 generations, he said. And he said, there's nothing there. He says, they've looked and there's nothing there. He says,
and you know, and I think in the old days, a lot of people sit around them campfires on cold winter nights.
And just told stories, huh?
And they just made them up.
So,
in a lot of ways. But this carving, this friend of mine, I guess he's pretty good at this dating kind of stuff. Doesn't think it's any more than 60, maybe at most 65 years.
How did he come by the dating? How did he figure that?
Oh, I don't really know what his speciality is or where he got his learning, but they say he's pretty good at it.
Oh, is that right? What does he say about the Davila transcripts?
He thinks they're quite of antiquity, but he thinks they're French trappers.
Uh-huh.
He thinks that's what they were made by French trappers. They've been out through all this whole country trapping.
Boy, I don't know if I buy that, because if it was French trappers, you'd see it all over, because them French trappers was all over the place.
That's what I mean, you know.
You know, you don't find this language anywhere. You don't find it anywhere other here than just 23 sites in the western United States, you know.
And you don't find them near water, you know what I'm trying to say? I love water.
Yep.
And the French trappers, they were mostly after beaver.
Yep, that's right.
And so, you know, you'd think you'd find them all around the beaver area.
Yeah.
Or where the beavers used to live, but that's his theory.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I don't
but
think
he says they're of antiquity. They're quite old.
Huh.
The Davila. And see, the kids about ruined this one here at the golf course.
Yeah, I've been up there. Yeah, there's several of the symbols obliterated. And
what's your occupation, Terry?
I'm an electrician.
See, I'm an accountant.
Oh. I'm an electrician. I've been tracking these things down for a lot of years. Since I found these sites here in Provo, I've been tracking them down. So I've been to all the sites that I've been able to find.
You know, you think about it, I believe that the Aztecs, the Incas, they all come up in here. You know, that's a lot of years.
I believe that.
You know?
I believe that.
And I think they left a mark around a lot of places. You've been to the Gap, of course.
Yep.
And you've probably been to the little cave on the south side of the Gap.
No, I didn't make it to that.
There's a cave over there, and we got an archaeologist involved because me and a friend found this. And see, I adhere to the law, you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah. Yep, you have to. Well, you know, when I first found him about 10 years ago, I couldn't find anybody that knew anything about him, but now it looks like there's a beaten path to that, and he was telling me that you told him, so I was wondering how many other people's known about this thing now, because I've been keeping it hush-hush, because people like to destroy that stuff. But
what it is a transient was living up there. This is how I come to knowledge of it. And if you look,
how did you find this out?
His campsite from the police.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know the same story from the police.
Yeah, from the police. Well, the police has told everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody. But
what was the story you heard? I just want to make sure it's the same one I've heard.
I heard that he was camped there. The transient was, and a little camp set up. And I've seen the camp.
I have too. Yeah.
And he.
In fact, most of his stuff's still there. When I seen the place, it's pretty well gone now. You can see where his camp was, but a lot of his stuff was still there when I first found it.
It's been packed off, but he come running into town one night, I guess, barefooted, feet bleeding, and everything. This is the story I got. He said that he could see some lights down in the draw.
Uh-huh.
And could hear some jingling and jangling, and, you know, I guess like a parade, procession. And the story I got is he looked down there, and he could see these people carrying up stuff, you know, kind of like a vision type thing.
I never heard that part of it.
Yeah, and that he noticed the lights emanating from the ground, and everybody knows that's familiar with treasure hunting.
Right.
Some precious metal will give off an aura.
Right.
I don't doubt that he may have seen something, but the other part about the procession and the oddly clad people, they were in an odd dress, you know.
I never heard that part of it.
Indians around there, and what they were carrying up in there, kind of like a vision, you know. I don't think I buy that, but he may have seen the aura of the, you know, the precious metal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that whole red hill there has got a lot of history to it. You know that?
No, I don't really know the history to that red hill. What?
See, down by the golf course,
a
panel of stone is called the Davila stone.
Yeah, I know that. What do you know about them?
All I know is there's similar ones all over the western United States.
Yeah, I've been tracking them down for about a little over 10 years, too. There's 23 sites in the western United States that I've
have
been
you
to.
One up to Fillmore?
Yep, I have.
That's Mong. You knew that.
Well, I know the Hmongs left a board there, but that's been tracked down, and it came to a dead-end road. I found a site here in Provo. That's what got me started tracking them down. So, yeah, I know about them panels and stuff, and I know Jose. I've talked with Jose several times, and I know...
Oh, you're really into this big time, man.
Yeah, I know it. But in fact, that's how I found that guy. Was searching around after, just checking the hillsides out after all that.
Right.
And that's how I found that.
And also the markings below the guy, the bas-relief guy.
The eye and...
Yeah, down below.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine that's quite into that kind of stuff come out and interpret it all for me.
And what'd he say?
He says it's probably only about 60 years old.
Oh.
All of the carvings there, about 60 years old, but it's pointing, if you go up from the raised hand that's holding whatever.
I call him the shotput man.
Yeah, the shotput man. If you go up from your shotput and you go down and you find that thing and you follow it, it'll go right out to the West Valley here. And he's got stories about out in that West Valley out there.
I know there's a cross out that way, carved on the rocks. I haven't seen it, but I know it's out there.
There's some real old dates out on the Butte, too.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
The Butte is just straight west of Cedar City. You get on that mine road, and you can see it. It's the only kind of bluff that sits out there in the middle of that thing.
Okay, yeah.
You can drive right to it, and you can crawl around there, and there's some old dates.
How old?
Oh, God. I remember one was in 1802.
Wow.
And, for this country, that's old.
That is old. Yeah, because that is old.
There's a bunch of newer ones, a lot of them in the 1800s out in there. And, that's close to where the casting of the lots were.
The what?
When Escalante, the father Escalante.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Casted lots, see if they should go back or go to California.
Yeah.
That, I think it was at the Butte, if you want to know the truth.
That probably would be.
Because they placed it out in that place somewhere, and I know that a team of college students were, in the anthropological department went out there digging around. One found a real old Spanish real. Pronounce that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he found one out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, out there at Butte. And also here in Parowan, on the south end of town, there was some Spanish pieces of 8 found when they dug a flagpole hole.
Oh, really?
When the town was first settled, they said that Butte there looks like that'd be a nice place to put a flag. They were a patriotic bunch. They dug a hole there and placed the flag in there. When they did, they uncovered these pieces of 8. And so, and then up here in Fiddler's Canyon, that's behind the Red Hill, the Ashdown brothers were looking for timber. And they followed the creek bottom up, and they found an old Spanish mine and everything up in there. And the breastplate's still in the Iron Mission Museum here.
Oh, really?
They brought it down a bunch of old tools and stuff. They never found much else there, but they did find.
So they did find some old tools, a breastplate, and that. And that was just behind the Red Hills there.
Yeah, behind the Red Hill and kind of to the north and east of the Red Hill, back up in that's what they call Fiddler's Canyon.
Okay.
Back up in there.
And you say that museum there still has that breastplate?
Or it did last time I went, and I haven't been in for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
But the last time I went in, they did have the breastplate there.